I think it's going to be just unbelievably dope. It's going to be the
Upper Decker.
So much. Your obsession with NBA basketball poops is true.
You
Yeah,
mean?
it's not like you talk about poop that much. You only talk about poop when NBA players are involved.
Yeah, they probably...
They have the most
yeah.
interesting poops.
I think when Michael retires, he's going to get a job at the Phoenix Stadium as the janitor, so he can just go in there after every game and just see the kind of damage that's
Oh!
He's gonna stop every player before they get in the bathroom and be like, "Oh, that flusher doesn't work. Just leave it in there. I'll take care of it. Don't worry."
Devin, go ahead and poop right on top of Josh Jackson's poop. That's all right. I'll clean it up. Don't worry about
I'm
it.
doing an experiment. I mean, I'm not doing an experiment.
Michael, why do you have a jar? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I definitely don't run the Instagram account NBA Poops.
That is not me. It's Bryan Colangelo.
Hello and welcome to the Long Two with Sweet Lou. This is Sweet Lou, and this is the worst podcast in basketball. I am joined tonight by two of my bestest friends. Michael, say hello.
Hey, Lou. Remember when you promised to do these things weekly? That was 4 weeks ago.
Well, hey, we've gotten one since then. I'm on the Mars.
What do you mean
calendar,
we?
actually.
What do you mean we?
Someone's got to put it up on the iTunes machine, okay? They don't just go up magically.
It might.
We're also joined this week by Nicholas. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Lou. I just got a new job, actually. I'm JaVale McGee's campaign manager for 2018 Finals MVP.
How's that going for you? It pays well?
It's going great. It pays nothing. I actually have to pay him a little bit, and I have to trim his rat tail.
Yeah, I was
every
gonna
now and then.
ask what does the rat tail maintenance require?
The rat tail was a major part of the contract I signed, yeah.
Yeah,
You actually consider that a benefit, though, don't you?
Oh, it's a blessing to be able to touch an NBA champion's rat tail.
So do you get on like a step stool or something? Because I can't imagine.
Yeah, kind of just go around town, get on like a crate, just say, "Hey guys, JaVale McGee was perfect in Game 2. Let's give him the MVP." Stuff like that.
No, I meant to deal with his rat tail. Do you carry around a step stool so that he doesn't have to bend down for his rat tail maintenance?
Oh, yeah, I do have to carry around a step stool all the time just because he's, a giant.
And you pay him for that?
I have to pay for my travel and lodging expenses, but that's it. It's the real payments in the experience and the joy I get.
Nick, do you carry around a step stool or a squatty potty? Because that could be multi-purpose then. When you're not trimming his hair, you could, get some nice dumps in.
The squatty potty does not give me quite enough lift as I need to trim the rat tail, so I do need a separate step stool, yes.
And a squatty potty.
And I hired a caddy to carry around those separate stools, so I'm really in the hole here. But it's all worth it. JaVale McGee, 2018 Finals MVP. You heard it here first, folks.
What happens when he's not even in the running? Because I haven't really thought about JaVale McGee this entire finals.
I'm prepared to sue the NBA, and I'm going to take it to the Supreme Court if I have to.
You think they'll take it
I think
serious?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg will be on my side.
Why do you think that? Is that just the Supreme Court justice that you know?
She's a reasonable lady, and I think she'll see my side of the argument.
There's 6 others to convince. You need at least
All right.
3.
Okay, so
This bit's been going on for about 2 minutes too long.
as you can gather, we're a podcast about the NBA, not just JaVale McGee. It's been a while since we've recorded. I was not on the last episode. These fine gentlemen were kind enough to roast me. And if you guys couldn't tell by the introductions, one of our members is not here this week. William Chuck Mebane is gone, so it's only fitting that we give him a roast. Michael, would you like to start?
Yeah. Will's the kind of guy that bets beer and then doesn't send it to you.
Oof.
Nicholas.
Those are harsh words. Will's favorite NBA team is the Denver Nuggets because he wanted to like a team that most represents his body shape.
Will is the kind of guy that gets really invested in his friend's colon and their pooping habit.
That's true. Bicilium husk.
He texts me daily and asks how did I shit today, and I said, I didn't.
I think that's all we got. We don't have the spirit to roast Will right now.
He's
like the white bread of people. You can't say anything bad about it.
Just one more jab, right?
Yeah, so it's been a while since they've recorded, and longer since I've recorded. And it's lucky we're going tonight because, I got injured. So I'm playing through injury right now. I got bit by a dog this morning. So I'm doing this for you people.
Yeah, you blew up our group text. So I'm sorry. I did not give a shit.
I was assaulted, Michael.
Lou, I can't help but feel getting attacked by a dog is partially your fault, considering you constantly have sticks of salami in your pocket.
It's a good mid-run boost, okay?
I was just happy to hear you were running.
Hey, I was 4.87 miles in when I stopped. I got bit by a dog.
Fun.
Wow.
Nice.
Humble
Not
brag.
bad.
How did you just stop?
Salami bread.
Wait, how did you just stop?
Well, they bit me, so I stopped running.
No. If you were 4 miles away from your starting point, how do you just stop?
No, I was 4.87 miles into the run. I was 0.13 miles away from my starting point.
Okay.
So I was almost home.
Okay.
It was a 5-mile loop I was doing.
Nice. That's lucky.
Awesome.
You got the run
Good
in
stuff, yeah.
before you got bit.
Yeah, it would have been really bad if I was really far away. I did not want to walk that far with bloody legs.
Do you think they sicked them on you? It is Tucson. Think you were trying to be mugged?
It was the rare canine mugging. Yeah.
No, the people who own the dog coming in later, but then saw who it was and was like, "This is not worth it."
This man has no money.
I listened to that guy's podcast and it was terrible. Get him, boy.
I don't think he was nice enough to the heat.
So, how was Disneyland, Lou?
Oh, it was magical. It was just amazing. Great food, great time. I got to hug Pooh Bear and Tigger. It was amazing.
Cool.
Make that the cover photo for this episode.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Don't do that.
Okay, so a lot of stuff that's happened since the last episode. Biggest on that list is probably Bryan Colangelo. Apparently decided he was going to tweet some things at some people about Sam Hinkie, about Jahlil Okafor, about Joel Embiid under some pseudonyms, and he got found. He got found out by The Ringer.
Yeah, I just
Nick,
want to
how
say...
did you feel about that? Oh, Michael.
I just want to say props to Bill Simmons. Only his media outlet would have the cojones to produce this story and really take down a GM. I think everybody else kind of submits to the NBA desires a little bit, but too much. But not The Ringer.
Well, Bill Simmons is also the guy who for years has been saying, why doesn't everyone just, ask Pop some real hard questions for once in the scrum? And then he never does it. Like, he could get a media pass if he wanted to. If he really wanted to do it that bad.
Yeah, but he also got fired from ESPN for speaking out about something. I can't remember what it was, but it's pretty controversial. And
It's about the NFL and their concussions, I think. No, it was about the Ray Lewis video, wasn't it?
maybe. I don't know. It's probably online. If you guys are interested, you
We're not
should
on
look
NFL.
it up on Google.
Bing it. Sponsored by Bing.
Ooh,
Bing.
sweet.
We exist.
Bing! That's it.
So, did you guys read any of the Bryan Colangelo tweets?
I didn't read a lot of the tweets specifically, but I read enough to get sort of the general idea of the stuff he was saying. And I personally 100% believe that all of these Twitter accounts belong to Mr. Colangelo.
Good enough for me.
Yeah, I think there was one where he mentioned milking Joel Embiid dry, and that caught my attention. But, yeah, I mean...
The reason I believe that all of these Twitter accounts belong to Mr. Colangelo is the names are kind of just lame enough and specific enough that you could tell it's what he really wanted his Twitter handle to be. For example, one of them was Still Balling, another one was Honest Abe, Enough Hunk-Owned Sources, Philo 1234567. It's just all of these clearly make sense for him to have. And not only that, in the tweets, he uses sort of abbreviations and sentence structure that is very much consistent with how old men use
Yeah,
Twitter.
a computer found him out, right? Like a computer saw the similarities in his
Well, I
in these tweets.
think they
I
used
think
a computer to
somewhat
study the
fabricated.
similarities after they discovered that they probably belong.
I have to imagine it was a staffer or someone who was a hinky guy that was mad when Colangelo came in and lost all his advancement opportunities and knew he had these and then had to figure out a way to justify him knowing he knew that they were Colangelo's without saying I work at the Sixers. So he that's how he stumbled upon the sentence structure.
It had to be It had to be someone who worked at the Sixers, because there's that whole thing about Jahlil Okafor not passing a physical, blah, blah, blah. And the other thing is he gets, like, really... It seems like he gets very personally offended when someone insults Colangelo. And the evidence is there. The thing that I really like is once the Ringer did contact the 76ers for questioning, all of the accounts went private. There's no way that's a coincidence. It's clear that if it's not Colangelo, it's somebody at the Sixers organization who's running those accounts.
They all also came from the same IP address. I saw that somewhere, which, that's a dead giveaway. Get a VPN. Old guys not knowing how to do the internet right.
I don't know. I'm very disappointed this happened to the Sixers. I don't particularly like Bryan Colangelo, but I like their young team. It couldn't have happened to the Kings or something, some team no one cares about.
Yeah, I'm super psyched about it because less people are shitting on the Suns now. We are not the laughing stock anymore. It's going to be a good off season
until they draft Trae Young with the number 1 pick.
Hey, he's the next Steph Curry.
I think you're thinking of Buddy Hield.
So you're going to get both next Steph Currys over there in Sacramento. One of them will be.
I like how we both, in the same breath, we said the Kings don't matter and then made fun of their draft choices and trade choices. Suck it, Kings.
They do matter. They matter as the one team beneath the Suns.
Well, here's my whole thought on this ordeal is I, for one, am not a big fan of sort of the way that, athletes and interviewers talk in post-game interviews, and it's what they're going to say. They're going to say the basic athlete thing. They're answering super obvious questions. No one can really say, their true feelings. And I like that, even though Mr. Colangelo here didn't tweet under his own name. He was still tweeting what he really thought. I support transparency. I'd rather he just tweeted under his own account so everyone knows exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah, I think it's more funny that he's a coward about his thoughts than anything.
Yeah. I imagine when you're an old, rich, white guy and you own a basketball team, your ego is probably kind of big.
And your daddy got you a job.
He never owned a basketball team. His dad owned it.
That's even better. You know what I mean.
I just wanted to clarify that Bryan Colangelo never owned the Suns.
This also routes back to a thought that I've always had is, if you're a famous person, why have any sort of social media whatsoever? Just don't lay on it. When has Twitter ever helped a famous person in any sense?
It's very helpful when they send dick pics, I believe.
Yeah. When has Snapchat ever really helped a famous person? Just keep off it. No good can come from it.
Instagram influencer. It's a career now. It helps.
I'm not talking about someone who made a career off Instagram. I'm saying if you're just a super famous person or just a famous person, why create an account and get in trouble for it like Kevin Durant did when he found out he had a burner account, when Draymond Green snapped out that pic of his penis. It's just
Draymond Green 100% sent a dick pic on purpose. He was bragging. Let's not sugarcoat it.
I don't think he added it to his story on purpose.
I 100% do.
You don't do that?
You don't mistakenly put things on your story and not delete them right away. It just Draymond Green wanted to show people his penis. We should all just get over it.
I did not see it, so I can't comment on whether it was worthy of being on a story.
I didn't see it either. I know you did as a diehard Warriors fan. How is that dick, Nick? Yeah, see?
It was not bad. It was not bad.
There we go.
Well, speaking of the Warriors, how about this series, guys? Very competitive. Am I right? NBA Finals, Warriors are up 3-0. Nobody saw this coming. We all thought they were going to lose. Discuss.
This game went pretty much exactly how I thought it was going to go.
I should mention we're recording after Game 3, immediately after Game 3.
Right. We're just after Game 3. But anyway, like I was saying, this game was pretty much exactly what I was expecting. It's the first game in Cleveland of the series. The Cavs coming off 2 losses. They're going to come out blazing. The crowd's going to be pumped. They want to win it at home, win the series. And for the first half of the first quarter, it looked like they were going to win. They had a 12-plus point lead. And then the original energy wore off. Tristan Thompson and J.R. Smith sort of regressed to the mean. And by the end of the first quarter, I think it was tied, or maybe there was a 1-point difference. And then the rest of the game kind of went like how you think it would. It was kind of close. Cavs were missing a lot of shots. Kevin Durant was putting the team on his back. And by the third quarter, the Warriors snuck ahead like they usually do. And by the fourth quarter, they broke away, and there's nothing the Cavs could do about it. And that's exactly what happened, and I think that's what everyone thought was going to happen. And I got my broom out, and I'm ready for the sweep.
My take on the finals is I came home around 6 and decided to nap instead. Hopefully woke up for the fourth quarter. I did watch the fourth quarter, wanted to go back to sleep.
I think the play that personified the whole series was towards the end of the game. I believe the Warriors were already up 3, and I think with JR and Tristan double-teamed Curry on like a semi-transition play, and then they both scattered to try to cover the guy in the corner, leaving Curry wide open for a 3, and then he drained it, and that's kind of how this whole series has been. They've been almost there, and then they just completely melt down.
The moment that I sort of lost my mind was after that 3, the Warriors were bringing the ball back up the court. They gave it to Kevin. Kevin crossed the half-court line, and I was like, oh, he's going to put a dagger in them right now.
Oh, my God, that was
And then he
disgusting.
took like a fucking 35-footer, swish, and he just walked away stone-faced. That is the epitome of what this team is and the style of play that Kevin Durant has. And it was a joy to watch. It was truly a joy to watch.
We're all a little too young to have watched the 90s Bulls, but I imagine that was how it felt to watch Michael just like dribble it up and like, okay, they're tied. And, oh, he's just going to hit something right now. It doesn't matter who's on him. He's just going to drain it. Like, I think most people, like, he was dribbling the ball up and they just knew he was going to shoot and make it. There's a few times during the game when he'd be dribbling. I'm like, he's going to do a step back, pull up with a guy in his face, and then just drain it. And every time he hit it. What did he have? 41 points on 21 shots or something ridiculous like that?
I'm looking it up right now.
Anyway, you should check out Nick's Snap story. He's holding a broom. It's pretty funny.
I saw that Nate Duncan had tweeted after the game the advanced stats for the game. Cleveland with the 51% true shooting, Golden State with the 62%. It's interesting that a lot of these teams just have not been able to put the ball in the basket when they're getting good shots. Boston in Game 7, Rockets in Game 7, Cleveland in this series. Like, they're getting a lot of open, good shots, and they just can't make it. Just really interesting to see.
Yeah, and the Warriors weren't even shooting that well in the first half. I think Clay and Steph combined for something like 5 points. They were like 1 from 13 in the field, something around there. And it's like if the Cavs can't win a game when 2 of the 3 of Golden State's main scorers are cold, they're never going to be able to win.
Kevin Durant's stat line: 43 minutes, 43 points, 15 of 23 from the field, 6 of 9 from 3, 7 of 7 from the line, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 turnovers, 1 steal, 0 blocks. It's a pretty impressive stat line.
It's a very impressive stat line.
Yeah, I like that 7 for 7 from the line. Got to make your free throws.
Tell that to George Hill, yeah.
Ooh.
13 rebounds, I think, is very impressive, Kevin Durant, considering in Game 1 and 2 he was doing a pretty piss-poor job of boxing anyone
Yeah, you
out.
think someone that tall with arms that long would get a few more rebounds.
I just don't think
Yeah, he's 7'1". I'm not going to be impressed by a high rebound unless it's like up in the 18s.
I think it's just one of the
If
things.
he wants to get 20 rebounds, he can go get 20 rebounds.
The thing that I love about Kevin Durant is that he can score pretty much anywhere from the floor at a high percentage. You know, he has that go-to move where he sort of backs someone down, turns around, fadeaway jumper. That goes in like 70% of the time. He can drive to the rim. He takes threes at a high clip. It's just when he wants to score, he's going to score. And I just don't think there's any way anyone on Cleveland can guard him.
Kevin Durant can shoot so well from everywhere. He is single-handedly ruining the name of our podcast, the Long Two, the worst podcast in basketball. Because for him, a long two.
There really isn't a bad shot for Kevin Durant to take. Like, there's never a time where he shoots and I go, ooh, hope he doesn't do that again. And anytime he shoots, I'm like, good. Kevin Durant made a shot, took a shot. That's what we want. That's how you're going to win this game.
That was a play towards the end of the game when Rodney Hood pulled up for a long two, and I was like, oh, that's a disgusting shot. And then 2 plays later, Kevin Durant does a similar thing, and I'm just like, well, of course that's the best shot in the game. Keep shooting that, Kevin.
Good shot.
Kevin Durant.
Good shot, Durant.
Kevin Durant is the most graceful human being I've ever seen in my life, and he just turns basketball into like live art performance. Watching him, it takes my breath away. He's a beautiful man.
Long been considered a cheat code of basketball, which is interesting because LeBron James has never been considered that. He's just really, really, really good at basketball. Kevin Durant is just like, he doesn't make any sense as a basketball player. LeBron makes a lot of sense. He's just very strong, got good vision. But Kevin Durant is, why can you shoot better than everybody else and are also taller than everybody else?
Yeah, it's like he was born to play basketball, like his body is perfect for it.
Well, and it feels like he doesn't even need to try either, because I'm sure LeBron James is in the weight room constantly, but Kevin Durant doesn't look like he knows where the weight room in the Oracle Center is. He really doesn't.
You know, whatever he's doing, I hope he continues, because tonight was a true masterpiece of a basketball game.
You guys want to hear something hilarious? I'm on Kevin Durant's basketball reference page right now because I was vaguely remembering something from his rookie year, and it's even worse than I remembered. His rookie year for the Seattle Supersonics, Kevin Durant had played an estimated 94% of his minutes at shooting guard.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, he is a shooting guard. He's a 7'1" shooting guard.
Bizarre.
He plays like a shooting guard.
He played 77% of his minutes at power forward this year, apparently.
Yeah, because they have Klay Thompson.
I just think that's...
The way that he shoots off the ball, shooting...
I guess that's why guys lie about their height a lot, is because it used to be if you said you were a certain height, they just threw you in the down low no matter what, no matter what it was. So I imagine that's probably what fabricated that. What does he say? He is 6'9"?
I think he's still listed as 6'9".
Yeah,
I think
he is.
If you Google it, it's still 6'9". He is not. He is taller than DeMarcus Cousins. They showed a picture of him standing next to DeAndre Jordan and DeMarcus Cousins on the Team USA team, and he was taller than both of them.
His listed wingspan is only 7 feet, and I find that very hard to believe.
I don't know, 7 feet.
Did you guys see Mo Bamba's wingspan at the combine?
What was it, like 7'3" or something like that?
It's the longest.
7'10", I
It's
think.
the longest
What?
that ever came through.
7'10"?
It's longer than it's longer than Gobert's.
He's got a 9'7" standing reach. He can almost dunk without doing anything.
I am very high on Mo Bamba. I'm very excited to see where he goes and follow his career in the NBA.
He's going to be the president of the CBA, and it's going to be awesome.
I think
He's
you
gonna
mean the NBA
swat out
Players
those
Association.
owners. Yeah,
You
or
said the
whatever.
CBA, the collective bargaining group.
Yeah,
Which
he's
he
gonna
would
be
negotiate.
the players
Yeah.
repping that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's a different topic for
Or
a
the
different
players
pod. Right now
association,
we're
it doesn't
talking
matter.
about
Let's
the
get back-
finals.
It's such a boring finals, though. It put me to sleep.
Okay. Well, let's mix it up here with our first listener question read on air. How do you guys
Let's
feel
do
about
it.
that?
Yeah.
So I solicited on Twitter to ask us a question. There's a 100% chance your question will be read because our Twitter presence is not great. And Chad Linus at GaberGuy95 asks, with LBJ's great games 1 and 2 performances, pending a third great game, should he be in the running for MVP of the finals if the Cavs lose or even if they get swept? And I'm going to start by reading a response from Chuck because before Game 3, Chuck was banging the LeBron Finals MVP drum, even if they lost. And I asked him about this, and he said, if they get swept, no. If they took them to 6, then yes, no matter what the game differentials are if they go to 6. And I think at this point, it's an interesting question, not because his Game 3 was particularly impressive, so that's not. But neither Steph nor KD have had more than really one dominant game, I feel like. What do you guys think?
I've already said my position on Finals MVP. It's going to be JaVale. But I'm of the opinion that you should not give Finals MVP to anyone on the losing team just because the name itself, most valuable player, what's more valuable than an NBA championship? Any player who doesn't bring me that does not deserve that title.
Yeah, I think just because it's going to be hard to figure out who on the Warriors gets it doesn't give it to LeBron James, especially swept. I wish I could take the counterpoint on this one just because, it seems like a nice topic to have and worthy of one discussion. But sadly, Chuck's not here, so should show up more, Chuck.
I agree with both of you that I don't think you can win it if you're on the losing team. I also do not think that I think Steph probably deserves it at this point, despite the 11-point performance he just put up tonight. The games 1 and 2 were just pretty incredible, especially Game 2. And he's an interesting case of a guy. Look at a long 2 favorite like Al Horford, and you talk about what he does on the floor, even when he doesn't have the ball and when he's not shooting or scoring. And Steph has similar effect that even if he's having an awful game like he had tonight, just having him on the floor just changed the game so much. And I think if he has another good game 4, then I think he's definitely got it in the bag over Kevin Durant. Who do you think's got it on the Warriors so far besides JaVale McGee? We'll take the obvious winner out of the.
I think that it's mainly going to be whoever has the best game in the sweep, because that's the hardest game. Game 1 was pretty difficult, so you give it to Steph for now. But the sweep, if somebody really separates themselves, one of KD and Steph probably. If one of those really separates themselves and puts the team on their shoulders and completes the sweep, then they get it. But right now I'm with you that Steph has had 2 good games to Kevin Durant's great game, so you probably have to give it to him. Plus he came back to really assert some dominance, which is pretty fundamental.
That said, KD's game 2 wasn't as spectacular as Steph's, but it was 26 points on 10 of 14 shooting with 9 rebounds and 7 assists. So that's a pretty damn good game too.
Yeah.
So now that I'm looking at the stat lines,
I think that it's definitely going to be Steph. Their first championship, it went to Andre Iguodala because, he sort of took over the starting role in the playoffs and the finals, and he played amazing. And he clearly played a pivotal role in winning that championship. Last year when they won it, it went to KD just because his performance in that final series was probably the finest basketball I've ever seen, and he definitely deserved it. But I think this series in particular, like tonight when Steph had an off shooting night, all it takes for Steph is just 1 3-pointer, and it changes the tide of a game. And I think when you watch home games, KD's great, and he's amazing, but the people's and the fans' affection belong to Steph Curry. And when he's an Oracle, he owns that building. That is his house, and I think it's time to give Steph the recognition. Not that he doesn't get enough recognition, obviously, but if they win, I think it's time to give Steph the recognition for being the heart and soul of this Warriors team, and I think he deserves the Finals MVP. If JaVale McGee graciously declines the trophy, of course.
As much as we, and I'm including us in the we of basketball media, like to pretend to be objective about everything, I think storylines definitely play a huge role in a little delayed reaction there. That's good to hear. I think storylines definitely play a huge role in when awards like this happen. And I think Nick kind of hit the nail on the head. When Andre won, Steph was fantastic, but the storyline was putting Andre into the starting lineup and shaking up the series. When KD won, it's KD came to Golden State and transformed the team and quote-unquote ruined the NBA. And I think the storyline going into this series has been Steph's having a fantastic year, and also he's never won. So I think, whether fair or not, he'll definitely get some votes on because you haven't won yet and you've been fantastic for 2 finals. You won already. So I think that'll definitely bolster his vote in the eyes of some people.
He broke the NBA Finals record for most threes made in a game in Game 2.
I mean, he's had an excellent series this time too, but
nuts.
I think the storyline's definitely affecting the narrative.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's the right year for him to win, and I think he will win.
They might just give it to both of them at some time to co-MVPs. They deserve it. They both deserve it. Yeah, it's a huge cop-out. They did that for the Diamondbacks World Series. They gave both Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson the EP.
Randall Johnson?
Randy. The big unit.
I prefer to call him Randall. So let's talk a little bit about some of the Cavs supporting pieces. They've been the main topic of discussion this whole playoffs. JR with the obvious Game 1 blunder, but I think some of his teammates have actually had pretty decent finals. Kevin Love, he hasn't scored particularly efficiently, but he's done great rebounding. He's done better than he ever has, and I think better than anyone ever expected him in his multiple one-on-one defenses of Steph Curry. He's getting scored on a decent amount, but it's a lot better than he was 2 or 3 years ago. So I think he deserves a lot of credit for how he's played in this finals, despite a lot of threes.
Sure. I would say that Kevin Love is probably the only other of LeBron's on the Cavs that is playing well, or as much as LeBron's expecting him to. I don't think anyone else, not J.R. Smith isn't hitting enough threes, Tristan Thompson isn't getting enough putbacks. No one's playing that great of defense. It's just Kevin Love's the only one who's showing up, and I don't think anyone else is really pulling their weight at all.
Yeah, the Cavs team looks like they know that they're not supposed to kind of... Rodney Hood, why are you playing in this game? I don't know. They asked me to.
This conversation that I started reminded me of something I was thinking about the other day. Did you guys read the Ringer's article on power ranking every teammate LeBron's carried to the NBA Finals?
No, I did not.
It was a fun piece, but there was one very egregious ranking. The writer, Mark Titus, I believe, I'm looking at it right now, ranked Tristan Thompson as the number 39 player he's carried to the final, behind Rodney Hood, Jordan Clarkson, and Michael Beasley, who are 29, 28, and 27 respectively. And to me, that's just wild. Like, there's no way that those three players are better than
Tristan Thompson was
a better career.
Pretty good the year they won. Like, he was the dominant force, I would say.
Rodney Hood hasn't played at all until tonight. Jordan Clarkson is the worst player in NBA playoffs history by some metrics. Like, he's got like a 3 PER.
You know,
I don't. And Michael
maybe
Beasley's,
maybe he's taking into account the cap burden that Thompson comes with, because that's pretty hefty, and his contribution is not appropriate.
He didn't mention that in his criteria.
You can't complain about the cap burden when LeBron definitely got him and JR those big contracts. Like, it's not like they were. It's not like, you know, they would have gotten that kind of money by themselves. They had help from LeBron and LeBron's to get those contracts. So if the Cavs are complaining about cap space, it's their own damn fault, which I can't really blame them for. You give LeBron what he wants.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at Tristan Thompson's basketball reference page now, and despite his rookie year, he's never had a negative. Besides his rookie year, he's never had a negative net rating. He's got pretty consistent PER. Like, I just don't understand how you can rank him 39th behind players like that.
That's a little absurd. Who's number one on that list, may I ask? Is it probably Dwayne Wade?
I think it's probably Wade. I'm looking too far down and got to the ads.
Why don't you roll out the top five? I'm just interested in the top five.
Well, he's separate into tiers. So the final tier is future Hall of Famers, which is 6 players. Number 6 is Phoenix Sun, Sean Marion. Number 5, Kyrie Irving. I should mention, part of his criteria was over their entire career, not just the seasons they played with LeBron when they went to the final.
Well, that doesn't seem appropriate.
Which is why Kevin Love, I think, is ahead of Kyrie at number 4, just because he had a pretty prolific career when he was in Minnesota. Kyrie is less so without LeBron. Number 3, Chris Bosh. Number 2, Ray Allen. Number 1, Dwayne Wade.
That seems fair. I'll take all those.
Ray Allen seems high.
I mean, he was an elite player when he played on the Sonics.
Yeah, I know. It's just interesting because he wasn't elite when he played for LeBron.
Ray Allen, perfect example of a famous athlete who got catfished. If you're famous, just stay off the internet. No good can come from it.
Can you go into more detail with that? I didn't know about this.
You didn't hear that story?
No.
Nicholas catfished Ray Allen.
Nice. Way to go. What did he do when you met Ray Allen? What did he do?
He brought some wax at a towel, and he's like, wax my head. It's like, all right, Ray, whatever you want.
Did he make you pay for it?
No, he paid me. That was one where I came out on top.
Ooh.
Anyway, we're getting off track here. I have a question I would like to pose to you guys. All season long, the Warriors have been positively dominant in the third quarter. They consistently outscore their opponents. And I just wanted to see if you guys had any theories on what exactly goes on in that locker room on halftime that makes the Warriors coming out so refreshed and clean. I'll have a few theories. I'll start with what I think is the most obvious one, is everyone on the Warriors sits in a circle, cross-legged, with Klay Thompson at the center of that circle, and they all chant and meditate until Klay levitates off the ground a few inches, and they achieve a brief nirvana and come out and score. Lou, do you think there's any credibility to that theory?
A little bit. I just think that Klay is always in the state of nirvana. So, I mean, that nothing phases that guy. I guess he could pass it on to his teammates, They smoke a little bit of the whatever Klay's been smoking. I imagine he shares his weed with them in the halftime huddle as well, in part of this prayer circle.
Yeah. Michael, do you agree with me? Do you think that's a plausible theory?
I think it's plausible. I don't think it's what happens. I think it's more likely that Draymond goes and throws a temper tantrum in the bathroom, kind of gets out of everybody's hair, and then everybody
drops an
else.
upper decker, maybe?
Yeah, possibly. He also seems like the type of person that would find that hilarious. And a Draymond Green upper decker, I would laugh at if he got me on it. Be like, you got me. But anyway, he probably goes over there into the bathroom. Curry and Durant probably get together and figure out what they're going to do to win the game. And then Clay probably just walks around the arena and thinks about things. And then nobody really
Puts on a
coaches.
white noise machine.
Yeah, nobody really coaches the other people. They just kind of fit in. Maybe Kerr will give advice to them, but I think that's what goes on. They kind of split up, except for Durant and Curry. They take it serious, and I'll bet you that the Warriors' bathroom is trashed after every game.
We all know Steve Kerr has some well-chronicled back issues, correct?
Correct.
I think what he does is he picks up every player on their team lifting with his back and shows them, this is what I'm willing to do for you. Go out there and win the game for me. And that's why he has such a bad back.
My second theory is that before every game, Ayesha Curry makes each player homemade PB&J with a personalized sticky note on it. Like, good job, Sean. I believe in you. Your mustache looks great today. Stuff like that. And I think it just really gives the players the morale boost they need to go out there and win, knowing that they're loved and supported. I think that's important.
What does Durant say?
Let's see. I think Ayesha...
He rattles off his stats from last year's
Ayesha
final.
just writes down his stat line from the last game and just goes, "You're Kevin fucking Durant. Do what you have to do, sweetie." And that leads me to my third theory of what they do, which is I think, they all face Steve Kerr at the whiteboard in complete silence. He brings up Kevin, and he just stands there in complete silence and points at Kevin Durant for the however long the halftime is. At the very last few minutes, he goes, Give this guy the ball. Just hand him the play strategy is to give this man the ball, and they go, "All right, coach," and they head back out there and they do that, and that's how they win.
I just thought of another Steve Kerr related theory. I think he lines them all up, much like you said, but and then he says, "I'm going to give you a gift that Michael Jordan once gave me, and it turned me into the man and player I am today." And then Steve Kerr punches each of them individually in the face.
I'm doing this because I love you.
This is what Michael used to do to us.
Yeah.
Either that or JaVale, no matter how bad the half is, JaVale just goes in there and says, "I've been on Shaqtin' a Fool like 1,000 times. This is not even embarrassing, guys. Let's go out there and win it."
Maybe that's why JaVale's on the team year after year, because at halftime they just sit around and make quips that they just make fun of him. And it brings up their spirits, and then they're ready to go.
That seems plausible.
MVP right there. You can really take it. He takes it for the team.
Teammate of the year, the Bryan Scalabrine of the Warriors.
Yeah,
So,
actually.
Do you guys think, how many games do you think Cleveland gets, if any more at all, during this
Sweep.
series?
It's going to be a sweep. This was their chance to steal one. That's so embarrassing that I just had to say steal one at home, because honestly that's what they needed to do here, their first home game, and they didn't do it. And this win for the Warriors took all the momentum out of this team, and I think the next game will be the last game of this series.
Yeah, I had been cheering for the Cavs all series, but, now they're down 3. Let's just wrap it up. Let's get the sweep. Let's get to the NBA offseason. Maybe there'll be some trades soon.
Let's get to the draft.
Let's move on. This season ended the way everybody thought it was going to end. No big deal. Maybe next year it won't. And we get to see where LeBron goes next year, because damn, not gonna stay.
So, I think that does it for the episode this week. I'm going to start that out. I said, that does it for the episode this week. Not too many great thoughts about the finals. It's been pretty predictable after the Cavs blew a couple games they could have won. We just got a couple closing thoughts about the NBA in general and the finals. Nick, what do you got for us?
I love this Warriors dominance. I love this soon-to-be dynasty. I think it forces every other player and every other franchise in the NBA to be as good as they possibly can be to have a chance at winning a title. And I think Kevin Durant using his free agency to do what was best for him was a great idea. And he just raised the bar. He raised the bar of what it takes to be successful in this league. And you can see the repercussions of that we're still seeing now. And I'm sure any free agency moves this summer will be an effect of that as well. I look forward to the Warriors winning their 3rd title in 4 years, and I look forward to see what other teams do to challenge them. I'm happy that we get to watch such beautiful basketball being played. These Warriors are an absolute thrill. They're making some fantastic plays, some fantastic shots, and I support it. I'm for it 100%.
Yeah, I just want to request the NBA to be better. We only got a handful of really entertaining games ever since the first round. A disappointment. And nobody can really put together a team that's better than the Warriors because of they had this weird cap situation that let them sign Kevin Durant, with him entering free agency the summer, the cap surge. It was a perfect storm of events, and it really screwed up the entertainment value of the NBA, and I think it's still screwed up. Everything's off kilter, and you can't really build a better team than that. You can't take a capped out team, magically give them $25 million in cap space while the top 5 players going on the market. I think we've learned, and hopefully it never happens again. So now we have to sit through this for another 3 to 5.
I hope it never happens again, but I do not think the NBA ruined. I think these 3 games are entertaining at the very least. Game 2 less so, but 1 and 3 were very good. And I would argue that 99% of NBA season is a prohibitive favorite going into. This happens that instead of being a 60, the Warriors are 75 or 80. I don't think it's new for one team to be a favorite.
Nobody during the 2000s, you had a hunch who was going to win the finals, but nobody knew definitive. And everybody every year is just like, yeah, the Warriors. They didn't get any worse. They kept the band together. Everybody decided to take less money to keep it going. It's going to happen.
I, for one, am very excited for Game 4. I'm also excited for the offseason where the Bulls will somehow accidentally end up taking Grayson Allen with the 7th pick. It's going to be a good offseason, hopefully. Hopefully, the Warriors will put on another good parade.
Yeah, parades are awesome.
Love a good parade. I don't really have anything. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll probably see on Twitter, we'll see a bunch of pictures comparing the crowd at the Warriors parade to the Trump inauguration.
I hope we get blessed. I hope we get blessed with another picture of Steve Kerr at a Las Vegas nightclub / strip club. It was probably a strip club. That was pretty cool. He does not look like he belongs there, but everybody knows that Daddy Kerr.
Oh, God. I don't like that at all.
So I guess we're going to close out with some plugs here. As always, follow the pod on Instagram. Not on Instagram, on Twitter, at Long2Pod. Also follow Phila 1234567, Eric Jr., all the accounts. Follow me at Shut Your Pickles on Twitter. We're going to start adding our podcast to YouTube, I think. So I think it's the Long2 on YouTube. Search for us and you'll probably find it. I'll link it on the Twitter as well. We're on iTunes, Android. I don't know any other podcast service. If you want us on there, hit us up and we'll try to get it on there. I could look into that. I haven't done that yet, though. We're on SoundCloud, but
it's a Minnesota Timberwolves specific podcast, but we already have more runtime than them. They haven't, because nobody wants to talk about the Timberwolves. Notice how we haven't talked about the Timberwolves.
Maybe we'll get Gabe on for an episode to talk about the Timberwolves.
Good, because I know nothing about them.
What are you plugging? Nick likes tacos.
As always, just follow me on Instagram at Nick Likes Tacos.
Michael, got any Old Spice to sell or homemade deodorant, whatever you're on now?
No, I'm on Dove for men actually, but I'm gonna say drink sparkling water if you feel sick. I was feeling sick in this podcast. Drank some sparkling water, specifically LaCroix. But you don't need to buy that expensive stuff. I'm a classy person, so I like classy beverages. But yeah, it's better than soda.
What a strong plug.
I think that about does it. This is episode 5. I'm probably going to shake up the naming convention because I feel like naming the numbering the episode doesn't really do much because we're not a chronological show. We're more of a topical show. Thanks for bearing with us as we figure some of this stuff out. We're going to try to do more segments and stuff as we go on. We're new to this, so be gentle. Yeah. 5-star reviews on iTunes. No 3 stars anymore. We don't want that.
Don't make promises for content and then don't follow up with.
That's my entire brand, right. Michael. So thank you all for listening, and as always, keep your foot on the line.
Peace. All right.